Today I'm going to show you how to fix this keyless controller for the Bobcat 337 Compact Excavator. The issue that the customer was experiencing was that the screen was not showing anything on the display, and the fuel solenoid also kept shutting off, throwing a code which they couldn't see because, well, the screen's not working. So let's open up the unit and see what's going on inside. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I started Nick's Electronics Repair over a decade ago, and since then have fixed hundreds of Bobcat keyless controllers. Commonly, when the display does not work, typically resistors around the U6 IC chip have failed open and will need to be replaced. So using our multimeter in resistance mode, we're going to go ahead and double check those resistors. The U6 IC chip is right over here, and we have a full row to the right. At the very top, we have R24, which is a 10 kilo ohm resistor. And that's exactly the reading we're getting. Same with the one below, R25. And that one is showing OL, which means that it's open line. Okay, let's check R26, also open line. So R25 and R26 will need to be replaced. Below that is R27, which has resistor with marking 680, which should be a 68 ohm resistor. And we have 7.67 kilo ohms. So that's thousands of ohms. So that's also an open resistor that will need to be replaced. Below is R32 with the writings 821, which should be, I believe, 820 ohms. We also have 7.12 kilo ohms, so that's thousands of ohms. So that's also open and will need to be replaced. Below that, we have R33, which is also showing open line. And that one is also supposed to be a 10 kilo ohms. And finally, we have R34, which should be 51 kilo ohms. And we're getting 50.7, so that one's okay. So out of those 7 resistors, only 2 are actually measuring as they should. The other 5 are measuring open or much higher resistance than they should. So what we're going to do is replace all 7, because even though the other 2 are still measuring okay, they're probably near their end of life and may fail in the near future. For this next step, we're going to switch over to our microscope. Before we can start the desoldering process, we're going to want to remove a little bit of the silicone. If you have a defective keyless controller that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services, which come with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which I will have linked in the video description down below. And we'll start by desoldering all of the 10 kilo ohm resistors. We have 4 of those. For the desoldering process, I'm just adding large globs of solder to both sides, melting both sides at the same time. Now we can desolder the excess solder. We'll clean up the area just a little bit with a Q-tip and isopropyl alcohol. Next, we'll prepare our pads by having only one side with solder. We'll melt that side and gently slide in the resistor. It is now locked in. We'll repeat the process 3 more times. And now we can lock in the other side. Next, we will desolder the R27 with marking 680. Same thing, we'll add just a little solder to one side. Same technique, slide in the component, now locked in, and solder down the other side. There we go. Next we have the 821, which is the 820 ohm resistor. And we'll also do the 5112 R34 down here, which is the 51 kilo ohm resistor. All right, we're going to do a final touch-up pass. We're adding a little bit of flux first. And that's just to make sure we have really good flow, really good joints. All right, that looks pretty good. I don't see any bridges or any issues with any of the solder, so I think we're good to do a little bit of live testing. Okay, let's power back on. And look at that, we have our display. So something I'm noticing is our gauges did not move. Typically, when I first turn on the unit, they should go to the right and reset. That didn't happen. Let's check our lights. Our lights is not working. See hours, RPMs. Okay, that is working. Let's see if we can get codes. Okay, so we are getting codes, which indicates that this button is actually working. It's just that our lights are not activating. Now, I don't have a lot of my sensors plugged in, so that's why it's throwing certain codes. So that is as expected. But let's go ahead and tackle the issue of the lights not working, as well as the stepper motors, the gauge is not working. So for the lights, we have an IC chip here at location ID U3, and we have two resistors to the right. We have R13, which is a 100 ohm resistor, and it's currently reading 70 kilo ohms, so 70,000 ohms. That means that resistor is bad and will need to be replaced. Below it, we have R12, which is a 10 kilo ohm resistor, and we're getting 9.97 kilo ohms, which is correct. So again, we'll go ahead and replace both of them because if one of them is defective, the other one is probably not too far behind. As for our stepper motors, just above our IC chip that we replaced the resistors for the display is our U4 chip, and that also has resistors around it, and that's going to be for the stepper motors. So we have R17 bottom left, 10 kilo ohm resistor, that's what we're getting. Just above it is another 10 kilo ohm resistor, R16, and that is 2.5 mega ohm, so that one's failed open. 14.9 mega ohms also failed open, will need to be replaced. 15, same thing. We have R22 up here, which I believe is a 470 ohm resistor, and that's open line. We have R23 up here, open, also will need to be replaced. R21 is also open. R15 is open. R18 is open, and R14, 470 ohms, which is good. But again, that is a lot of defective resistors. We're gonna want to replace all of those. So at this point, we'll switch back over to the microscope. We're gonna go through the same process. We're gonna remove a little bit of that silicone on the perimeter of the resistors, and then we'll desolder them. If you have a defective keyless controller that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services, which come with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which I will have linked in the video description down below. Next, we'll remove the 470 ohm resistors. Same as before, we're going to add a little bit of flux to all of our resistors. And we'll do one last pass to make sure that everything has good flow. And a final cleanup. All right, let's scooch over to the U3 IC. We have R13, which is our 100 ohm resistor, and R12, which is our 10 kilo ohm resistor. So these two didn't really have much silicone on them, which is why we didn't really need to do a cleanup first. All right, let's go ahead and test it. Okay, my stepper motors still are not turning. And, oh, but I do have my lights. So let's see. Okay, the light button is now working. I can turn the lights on and off. But my stepper motors are still not working as they should. So most likely the stepper motors themselves are defective and will also need to be replaced. So we can go ahead and do that next. So to remove the stepper motors, we're going to have to completely remove the circuit board out of the shell. And we'll have to remove the front plate. And we have 4 screws back here. And I should be able to push back, okay, the circuit board while pressing down on that front piece. And for the desoldering process, we'll switch back again over to the microscope one more time. And here are the 4 solder joints for the stepper motor. Okay, again, same principle. We're adding solder first, getting good flow. Start by getting good flow again with my iron, kind of preheating the area. And then we're using the desolder wick, of course. Yep, so this one has movement. Yep, movement and movement. So this is our last pin. Oh, there we go. It just fell through. Okay, we still have to desolder it though. So let's preheat the area, get good flow, and hit it with the desolder wick again. Okay, let's flip it over and see if maybe we can desolder it from the back side. There we go. Let's go ahead and desolder the next one. Oh, there we go. And now we can install our replacements. All right, we have put the unit back together. Let's do a check on our stepper motors. And look at that, both of them seem to be working as they should. Let's turn it off. Yep. Okay, we're gonna do a quick check on our fault codes. Okay, and 65-05 is, I don't believe, a fault code we should be expecting. I don't have a lot of my sensors plugged in, but so that's why the other codes are popping up and those are expected. But the 65-05 I don't believe is as expected, and I think I know why. I was doing a few more checks on some resistors. We have a 10 kilo ohm resistor over here that is showing 14.6.8 mega ohm. So this one is also open and will have to be replaced. We have R247 over here, which also is a 10 kilo ohm resistor. That one's showing 25 mega ohm, also open and will need to be replaced. we have a 100 ohm resistor down here that is showing 137.8 ohms. So that's about 40% higher than it should be. And then finally, we have a 10 kilo ohm over here, and also showing 26. So I did identify 4 more resistors throughout the board that were open and need to be replaced. And I do believe that that might be the reason for the fuel solenoid issue that the customer was experiencing, and also related to the 65-05. So we'll go ahead and replace those off camera, and then we'll do another final test. So we just finished replacing those 4 additional resistors. We'll power the unit back on. All right, let's do our code check again. And it was that last code, 65-05. And we just want to make sure that we got rid of that, because I believe that that was the fuel solenoid issue that the customer was experiencing. All right, and these so far are all expected. The 65-05 was the only one that we were not expecting. And look at that, it is no longer present. So that does confirm it. We've resolved all the issues that the customer sent in the keyless controller for. We got rid of the issue with the display, solenoid fuel shutoff, and they did not mention it, but the gauges were obviously the stepper motors not working properly. Now there are a few other things that we're going to do off screen to this unit, such as replace the buttons. They are very worn, and if we don't replace those, they're probably going to break in the near future. There's a few other resistors that we like to preemptively replace as well, because they commonly fail. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to conclude it here. If you found the video helpful or useful, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.